I'm Lucinda Florio. Today on Around and About New Jersey, we're here to visit Howell Farm in Hopewell Township, Mercer County. A visit to Howell Farm is like a visit to the past. The farmers here do things the way they were done 100 years ago. And while you watch this program, ask yourself the following questions. First, why is Howell Farm located where it is? And how did the farmer get to places where he could buy what he needed and sell what he produced? And second, how were the farm machines and tools different from those used today? And third, why did the farmer need many different animals and crops? And how is that different from modern farming? When you find answers to these questions, you'll begin to understand how and why farming has changed over 100 years. And that's what history is all about.
Hey, hop aboard my time machine. Okay, it's a school bus, but it will take us to a place that will show us what it was like to live in the past. So doesn't that make this a time machine? How far back into the past will we go? 4 generations back.
What's a generation? Okay, your class is standing in line. The first person in line is you. The next person is your parent. The next person, your grandparent. And the next person, your great-grandparent. Each person then represents a generation. And each generation represents 25 years. 4 generations ago, that's 100 years back into the past.
This time machine is going to take us to a farm of 100 years ago. We're going to see how farmers from 4 generations back lived. So hold on to your hat, grab a window seat if you can, as we go around and about New Jersey.
Today, we're going to visit Howell Living History Farm in Mercer County. Howell Farm is located a few miles north of Trenton in the rolling hills of western New Jersey, near the Delaware River. From colonial days, the Delaware Valley was one of the best farming areas in America because of its rich soil. To get there today, we travel in a car or bus on a paved highway. But 100 years ago, we would have traveled in a horse-drawn buggy along a dirt road. At Howell Farm, the farmers try to work the way farmers did in 1890. That is what they mean by a living history farm. Pete Watson works here at Howell Farm.
Howell Farm was established to teach people about our farming heritage. We can learn a lot about today's modern farms by seeing what farms were like at the turn of the 20th century. Right about then, many machines were invented or improved to help farmers cultivate more land and raise more food. We use these machines right here in front of our visitors, and we even let people use some of them. It's easy to understand how these early farm machines work, and that helps people understand the modern versions of our machines. Also in the time period 1890 to 1910, small family farms like this one required lots of hands to do the work. That means there are plenty of opportunities for people to pitch in and help, and in the process to learn. And that's really our goal, to help people understand farming by letting them see and touch and use some basic farm tools and machinery.
When you come to help with the chores, remember that at the turn of the century, farmers didn't have tractors or electricity to pump water. But they did have lawnmowers. We visited Howell Farm in the early spring. That's when the farmers shear sheep.
Everybody's attention, please. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Howell Farm again. You guys are here for sheep shearing program today, and we're going to split you up into 4 groups like we always do, and you're going to revolve around 4 stations, which include shearing our sheep, feed mixing, and grinding.
Since each season has specific chores, Howell Farm has different programs that follow the different kinds of farm work done throughout the year.
Blow away. We don't want to see cellophane shining in the grass here at the farm.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Beautiful day, isn't it?
The first station we went to was the sheep shearing station. Here, we learned how farmers have sheared sheep in the past.
What I first have to do is make an opening in the wool down the front here, so I have a place to get started. I had a sheep the other day that didn't want to be sheared, and I was wrestling her all over the barn.
Does she mind when you shear her?
No, doesn't hurt the sheep. It's just like giving it a haircut. Back in the late 1800s, there was getting to be a lot more sheep, and the farmers figured out a way, they invented a hand crank clipper that would make it go a little bit easier. But what I need is 1 volunteer. All right, you got your hand up first. You must have known something was going to happen here. All right, can you stand there, put 1 foot on the base so it doesn't tip, and yeah, and start cranking. The other way, that way. A little bit faster. This one isn't too bad. Okay, thanks.
Isn't there a modern way to cut the sheep a little bit faster?
Yes, there is. These.
Modern technology.
Yep.
It's everywhere.
Okay.
At the next 2 stations, we found out what happens to the wool. First, it is washed, and then it is carded.
You just came from shearing, right? You all saw how the sheep was shorn. All right, now, we have the wool here that was cut off probably yesterday or the day before, and you'll notice how dirty it is. I'm sure you saw that when you were up in the barn. And the wool is full of straw, sometimes burrs, stickers. I see that sheep has been out in the field and in the barn, sleeping in the straw and in the dirt and everything for a whole year. It hasn't had a bath.
Can you imagine a whole year's worth of dirt? Is yours coming out white? Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, yours is pretty white, or is that the substance?
It's so How about mine? Mine's pretty white.
Oh, there's some white.
Just keep brushing them until they're all going in the same direction. That's the idea of carding the wool. And this was something that the kids would have to do. They would probably be standing here carding the wool. Very few people would do it this way today.
In 1890, most of the wool from Howell Farm probably was transported by railroad to Trenton, where there were 2 mills that carded and wove the wool. Clothing for everyday use would have been sewn at home with cloth purchased at general stores in Titusville, Harborton, or Pennington. Their Sunday clothes probably were purchased from tailors and dressmakers in Lambertville. At the final station, we learned how farmers of 100 years ago managed to feed the new lambs born every spring.
Wheat and whole kernels of corn, then the lambs wouldn't be able to digest this very thoroughly. So what we want to do first is we want to grind it up, and that's what you guys are going to be doing.
They also grow crops on Howell Farm. Some of these crops are fed to the animals, like corn and wheat for the lambs.
The next step, you're going to have to separate the paper that covers the seeds. It's called the chaff. To do that, you're going to open your hand up flat Put your other hand on top and roll back and forth so you rub the paper, the chaff, off. Keep your hand flat like that. It's going to be kind of like a rolling pin, right? Now the next step, to get the paper away from the seeds, you just blow very gently, and the chaff will fly off, and you'll have the seeds left in your hand. Okay?
In 1890, crops were both used on the farm and taken to market. Unlike farms today, many of which have only dairy cows or only turkeys, Howell Farm has many different kinds of animals.
Now I have a big question for you. Which animal on the farm do you think is the most important?
I think the sheep is sort of pretty important because it's good to keep yourself warm in the winter.
Well, I think that the cow was pretty much the most important because you can also get a drink from it, like milk, and then you can also slaughter it and kill it and also get food.
Well, the horse, because you can ride on it for anybody, so it's like entertainment, and it can do work. It can pull things.
Horses. Horses were important because they pulled plows and other kinds of farm equipment that today are run by gasoline engines. Horses were also the main means of transportation. The surplus grain from Howell Farm probably was transported by wagon to a grist mill in Titusville, where it was ground into flour. Milk was taken by wagon every morning to Moore Station to be put on the 6 a.m. train to Trenton.
Whoa, this is heavy.
Yeah.
So, do you think you'd like to live on a farm?
Yeah, it's nice.
You know, horses supply a lot of different things around the farm. Do you have any idea what this is?
Horse manure.
You're right. Horse manure.
At Howell Farm, they spread the horse manure on the fields to return nutrients to the soil. That is the food that plants need to grow. It's called fertilizer.
Today, most farmers use commercial fertilizer because many of them don't have animals to supply manure.
Here, chickie!
Howell Farm is a wonderful place to visit, and it's even better to come and visit yourself, either with your class or with your parents. Just hop on your own time machine. Any four-wheeled model will do.
Pete, it was wonderful. I had a great time today at Howell Farm. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome, Midge.
Well, I guess you figured it out. We really didn't visit the past. But Howell Farm does give visitors a sense of what New Jersey farm life was like in 1890. Why do we need to know that? Well, in order to know what New Jersey is, we really need to know what New Jersey was. It's places like Howell Farm that you should visit when you go around and about New Jersey. Let's go, Pete.
Get up, boys. Al, get. One.